This is the CHRILLCAST. I'm Chris.
And I am not Will. I'm Timmy, okay? I'm not Will.
He might be
JC.
Harambe. And we have Harambe joining us in the background.
as well.
Yes.
Hey.
JC. Why don't you tell everybody about your channel, JC?
So, my channel is I would say 50-50 split between I do like film, cameras, stuff like that. I make my own short films and post them on YouTube, but I also stream every single week. Right now I'm streaming Call of Duty Zombies, working even more specifically with Call of Duty Zombies World Records, and just in the future I'm going to start expanding into doing whatever games people on my channel want me to live stream, but I live stream every single week.
And he's unboxing something apparently badly, according to his...
yeah, no. Okay,
Yes.
yeah, you should watch that. You might be interested.
What's in that box?
It's a lens. It's a
Oh,
camera lens.
okay.
I'm like, yeah, they sent me a camera lens.
Cool.
Or they didn't send me. I bought a camera lens.
I was going to say, wait, what?
I'm
You
not
got...
good enough for someone to send me that.
That would be amazing.
I sent them money and they sent me this.
Yes.
I sent them money.
Sponsored
They
video. Sponsored. Anyways.
But yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Timmy, what do you do?
I have a cooking channel where I talk about. My main channel. Yeah, sorry. You didn't know.
Wait, do you actually have a cooking channel?
No, I don't actually.
Okay, I was going to say,
I was
whoa,
I was just
going
gonna ramble for a while, and I decided, with the headache, which wasn't a good idea. I just cover, random internet doo-doo. 4chan sometimes. It's a crusty place, but I get in there. I've dabbled, okay? Reddit, and some of my last ones on some shenanigans there with world politics, subreddit, turning into a bunch of anime bad words I'm not going to say on the CHRILLCAST. Oh yeah, I talked about Alex Trebek, a legendary human being, very interesting guy.
Probably
Over
the
50
best
years in broadcast.
The best Alex Trebek biography on the internet.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. But if only the internet knew that.
How have you not covered the Harambe situation ever?
I mean, what's to be said? We know what happened.
Look, everybody knows who Alex Trebek is, but you could do it better.
True. But they didn't know that he looked like that. Look at that guy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That stash. They didn't know that he's, probably they knew he was Canadian. But, he's been in broadcast for almost 60 years.
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
Go check it out, guys. YouTube.com/TELLMEMORETMM and go click on Alex Trebek. All right. And then, but after you do that, go watch this bad unboxing, apparently, of...
Oh, no. Go back like 30 seconds. Then you'll get to the good part.
where you're doing the axe.
Yes.
Well, do we want to spoil? Do we want to spoil? Oh,
Yes.
dear Lord.
Okay, that's good. There's other stuff.
That's great.
That is exactly how you do
That's
it.
exactly how it should end. Just me like this, being like, that's enough right now.
All right, so we're not here to talk about the completionists. We're here to talk about next-gen video game consoles. Holy cow, what did I do? So what are the consoles coming out?
Picture games.
Picture games.
I'm going to shut up now.
Full FMV games. No, I'm just kidding. So we got the Nintendo Switch is already out. That's the next-gen Nintendo console, right? So that's there. We already know about the Nintendo Switch. So what's there to say about the Nintendo Switch? It exists. It's wildly popular, and both the PS5 and the Xbox Series X are going to have to compete with it. All right.
Fun fact about the Nintendo Switch: it is on track to pass the Wii as Nintendo's top-selling product.
But not its top-selling portable.
Mm-mm.
The DS, 154 million sales. The PS2, it also won't pass that, 155 million sales. Probably won't pass the PS4. Wow. Anyways, PS5 releasing in two different models, a disc-based model and a digital-only model. What do you guys think about that?
Go ahead.
I like options. I like options. I don't think they're good options.
There's that.
So it's like a whole thing of the a big thing with people is PS5 is going to allow you to play backwards compatible games. But if you have those games on a disc, you're kind of screwing yourself. And it hurts a little bit to think about that. It's like, okay, do I want to save a little bit of money, or do I want to be able to play the games that I own? And it's kind of like a pseudo choice. It's not really a choice for a lot of people. And I feel like it's going to lead to heartbreak for little TiMMy when he saves up his money, and then his parents are like, "Oh, you're not responsible enough to do it," and they go out and they buy the non-disc version because it's cheaper, and he doesn't have money to get discs, or not. He doesn't have money to rebuy games or get more games, and he's just going to be sitting there with his new useless console.
I mean, that's a fair thought. I think, though, I don't know. I don't think there's going to be that big of a price difference between. I hope not, because if there is, I ain't buying it day one. I ain't buying it day one anyways. I think the design looks stupid. I love the PlayStation brand. I really play a lot of PlayStation games. I basically would be. I'm not going to lie. I probably won't buy an Xbox unless something that doesn't come to PC is enticing enough for me to buy an Xbox. But the PS5, I probably will end up buying. I just won't buy it in its current form factor. I don't like a folder surrounding a network router. I think it looks stupid.
Oh no, you just hate the design that much?
I don't like the white part of it, honestly.
That's pretty intense.
Yes.
I think it's just funny how they swapped color palettes.
It is
Because the
strange.
Xbox went full black, and now the PlayStation is going white.
That is true. I mean, but the original Xbox One was full-blown black, too.
True.
I guess.
I know that most people have an Xbox One S, which is the white model, but...
It's just Xbox has been the console that you think of as like, okay, that one could be white.
Because of the 360.
You don't think of another color.
No, you don't. I do not like this, down to my very core, this color scheme.
I noticed. I heard
Something
that.
makes your core just shudder.
It's an inverted Oreo. I don't like it.
I kind of like it. I'm not gonna lie.
When they release the sleek all-black model, I'll think about it. Fun fact about the controller, though, and the texture they used on all of the different pieces, the texture that you see there, that rough feature, is actually a bunch of PlayStation symbols.
Really?
Yeah, and on the back of the controller, it's the same thing. The grips are actually just a bunch of PlayStation symbols put on top of each other. I think the PlayStation 5 is the most enticing of the new consoles coming out, except I'm not going to buy it day one. There's zero chance I will buy this day one.
There's no reason to right now, is there?
No. I haven't seen a game that I really feel has pushed me to the edge of my seat. I need to buy this console. Whereas if Xbox said, yep, Halo Infinite is only coming to the console, and that game turns out to be a big banger of a title, that might have enticed me. But it's coming to PC, so what do I care? Like, I guess I'm just going to buy the PC version. I don't need, anyways. But PlayStation, I definitely won't buy a digital version of anything. So it'll be definitely the disc-based version. 100%.
Yeah, I'm old school in that regard, too. And I know, it's not going to be that way forever. Honestly, the next generation after this one probably will not even give you a disc drive, to be honest.
We'll see. I mean, I was still able to find...
Picking up and just going.
Yeah, exactly. You still can't do that because you have to install every game you buy anyways.
Right.
But if I have the choice to have a disc, I'm going to buy a disc or a cartridge.
Same. I like to hold it. Although I will say right now, what's going on with my Xbox is my disc drive is going out, so I have to
oof.
If I was all digital, if I had digital Call of Duty, I wouldn't have to finagle it and push it in with a piece of paper and turn it off and turn it back on.
So what I have heard about that, and just if I don't know if this will help you or not, but I've heard from many, many, many sources that if the Xbox disk drive is having issues, sometimes it's software based and it's hard drive based. So just swapping out that hard drive might fix it.
Interesting.
Somebody
I did
switched.
get a new disk drive because it's something to do with the feed. Like when I put the disk in by itself, it just doesn't feed all the way in.
Gotcha.
And then I realized it's a total process because, of course, now they do the same thing that everyone does where they pair certain parts with only that motherboard, and you have to, work around that kind of thing. So it's going to be a process. And the one day that it doesn't actually work, when I mess around with it long enough, I'm going to have to just break down and try and switch it out.
To be fair, which Xbox model do you have?
The original white Xbox One. I don't even know, dude.
The original, so the big fat white one?
Oh yeah, but yeah.
There's not that many of those. Those are actually kind of rare.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're way off track here. Next gen consoles. I think it's fascinating that even into this gen, we still have every console with a disc drive in some various format, other than the two we're going to talk about at the end here. And then the Switch still has cartridges. And I did see a comment on Reddit the other day that gave me pause. It was like, why did Nintendo ever use discs? What a bunch of dummies. They should have stuck to cartridges. And I'm like, what? Like, what? Like, every console with a disc for Nintendo has failed. All the cartridge consoles, spot on, fantastic, top performers. I'm like, I mean, I guess, but the Wii exists. Like, there's that.
Yeah.
That is number one, right?
Yeah. So
for now,
and then like the N64 only sold, like 24 million or something, or 32 million or something like that. So I mean, it sold well, but it wasn't like perfect by any means.
Oh, it was perfect.
I mean, perfect in financial sales aspect. All right.
I was going to say that.
What do we think the next gen pricing is going to be? I mean, it's changed significantly in the predictions I've seen, especially since now that we're going to think about the Xbox here for a second. The Xbox supposedly is coming in 2 models day one, which we still haven't seen the Xbox Series Lockhart.
I think they're okay with losing money on their actual console price.
Yeah, that's the real dependent thing is, are they going to take a loss in order to have people think it's affordable? Because it's rumored that it's like you'd need to sell the console for $700 to $800 in order to cover costs.
Right.
Which at that point you're getting a low-end PC. I think that's the point, though. Microsoft wants to be they want to take in a gaming market, but also have PC features. Like, I think Windows and Xbox are doing this slowly but surely to the point where you could have Office 365 on this box, right?
They're the new Dell.
Like, I mean, why at this point Microsoft is selling you this to sell you Xbox Live, sell you their video game software, and if they could get in like the PC products on there, can you imagine the market share they would have if the Xbox Series X is financially successful? You could have subscriptions for Windows or Microsoft Office 365 built into the Xbox marketplace. Like,
right.
It's a win-win in my opinion, because a lot of people don't want to have. If you're buying a console, do you really want a PC? Like, are most of the people buying consoles also hardcore PC players? No, most of them aren't. If you could get all of your computing tasks on your Xbox, and then like when you're done, like, all right, I'm done doing finances for the day, time to game. Like, that'd just be so convenient. I can't see that being a bad choice for them, as long as they focus on gaming and make that a feature.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. It's inevitable that those worlds are colliding. You're already seeing it with the last version.
I mean, the Surface. The Surface is a perfect example where Windows, Microsoft together has combined their hardware and software to almost a perfect combination. It's like the perfect portable Windows machine. And if they could make something like that where they had like the perfect console plus it had extra features to be a perfect low-end PC, boom.
Yep.
I mean, if you could be like, all right, guys, I know you all want to get a new console, but hey, this can also do your PC stuff. Grab that mouse and keyboard. Get your Excel sheets going. Yeah, that's what's up. I mean, I'm sure they won't do that, but
I do think you're right, though. I mean, I almost think it's going to take a few big select titles being only exclusive to consoles to push several more users to actually just get off PC and probably continue with PC, obviously, but actually commit to one of these two consoles.
I mean, there's like a market share of like 50 million Xbox One users, right? So you want to convert instantly all of those people to the Xbox Series X as quickly as possible. That's the goal, right? And then build the audience from there. So what are they doing right? They've got backwards compatibility all the way back to the original Xbox. So even people that have OG Xbox games can use this console day one. They've got Xbox Game Pass, which is a super awesome feature. They've got a supposedly affordable price. And if they add in low-end PC or just PC computing to this, or have a side load of Microsoft Office products, I can't see this being a bad thing to own.
Right.
Especially if you don't want to buy a PC. It could be like the everyman's console, that not a PC player.
Mm-hmm.
Now the PS5, what does it have going for it? A slew of really good first-party titles that are not available on PC. It's got backwards compatibility with the PS4, which is the most successful console of the last generation. It's got, Sony's proprietary technology for VR that you have to pay extra for, but it is a feature. You can get VR directly on the console just like you can on the PS4, right? And that's all I've got right now on that. Oh, PS Now. PS Now is a thing. PS Now is a nice service. Hopefully it converts nicely to the next gen. But I've never thought of PS Now as being a good competitor to Xbox Game Pass, because they supplement PS Now with PS3, PS2, and I don't think they brought PS1 games to PS Now yet, but I could be wrong about that. The biggest issue I see there is PS Now is not equivalent to Game Pass when it comes to Gen 7, which is PS3 emulation. They can't do it. So PS Now essentially streams PS3 games. Whereas the Xbox One, you can download every generation of game available on the service and install it directly to your PC. So what do you think is going to win the console war? Xbox or PS5?
I honestly think PS5, but I'm an Xbox guy, so it just saddens me to say it. Like the titles. I know you don't like the trench coat, but it's a slapping ass. That's a good looking console, man. And it's weird. I feel like no matter what, people are gonna hate on it, though.
Oh, people are gonna hate on both.
It's just a brick.
You got the fridge and the network router.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think Xbox is doing better in their console, but PlayStation, Xbox, a really big factor is going to be how many people want to convert from the PlayStation 4 to the Xbox X, Series X. Because if they don't want to and they just want to stay with something that is more familiar, PlayStation 5's got it in the bag. But I feel like if we were talking about the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, we'd be having the opposite conversation where we're like, will people be willing to jump from the 360 to the PlayStation 4, which people did.
That is true.
So it all depends. It all depends. Does PlayStation mess up? Or does Xbox really hit a stride? We'll find out.
And the PS5 is a massive behemoth of a console if you've ever seen the size comparison. It's huge. It's taller than the Xbox Series X, and it's got a bigger depth to it too. It's a huge proportionally, even bigger. Like the Xbox Series X looks big. This thing is like, it takes the whole cake. It's like a Blu-ray player from 2007. It's huge.
Mm-hmm. The Xbox Series X looks big just naturally. The PS5 is big.
Yes, exactly. So,
interesting.
Aside from the two major players, which we fully expect to sell millions and millions of consoles, there's two older brands looking to make their way into the console market. One of them being the Atari Vcs, and that's shipping November, December against the Xbox Series X and the PS5, which is not a good time frame to try and release a console, but oh well, that's the old school version. This is the Atari VCS. We've talked about it once on this channel before. I'm going to go to GameStop. They've actually got the SKUs up, so we'll just do that.
Say, well, yeah. go get my old Atari out, but and my Intellivision.
This is a console that started out being called the Atari box, and it has since evolved into the Atari VCS. This is the model that most people, if they were going to purchase this console, would probably buy, because it comes with both the classic controller and the classic. I will say this: the joystick on this thing that they created for this console is epic. It's super freaking cool if it actually works as well as they've shown on video. The other one, it's your standard, modern controller with a red color scheme, the Atari color scheme to it. But this thing has light up lights depending on where you're at. And then the actual joystick itself can spin for different various actions you want to use. Also has a couple extra buttons on it. It's interesting. But for $380, I can probably go pick up the low-end version of the PS5 and the Xbox Series S or whatever they call the new Xbox. So who's going to pick a budget Linux console for $380 over Sony and Microsoft's offerings, or even the Switch, which is $100 cheaper? Like, who's going to pick this over those consoles?
Nostalgia people.
True.
But so it launches with 100 games, 100 Atari games built in, so that there's some value there. But these are games you could get and emulate on any computer or any service or any console previous to this. On top of that, they're touting the fact that you can install a separate operating system on this thing, at like essentially a co-operating. You can make this into essentially a low-end computer. I don't know how well it's going to perform that way, but it can do it. And
like, why?
That's what they're saying, because I think they were having a hard time licensing games to it to show, like, hey, install Windows and put Steam on it. Like, okay, but at that point, like, it's just a Steam box.
At that point, it's a discount Xbox.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, this is actually coming out. It's coming out November, December time frame. They've already showed shipping pallets of these things physically existing, so you know that they're coming. But I just don't know who this system is for at this point. It was meant for
only the deep nerds, I feel, which I might actually buy this by saying that. So.
Well, if you do, I want to know what you think about it.
I will.
It's a 3-year story at this point. They've been trying to put this thing out for 3 years. This would be a good Tell Me More episode at some point about how this thing came to be. But I think the actual the aesthetics of this thing are cool. I like the way it looks. I think it's very pleasing to the eyes, but I just don't know why I would buy it. On the other hand, there is another console doing something very different that we've talked about before, and I might actually buy one of these because it is just so different from everything else I've seen coming out lately. It's the Intellivision Miko. It comes with 2 controllers that sit in a dock on top of the console. They got a little touchscreen on the top and a dial, and then several side buttons and gyros like a Wii controller does. And it comes with six games right out the gate. And because it's doing something very different, they're selling their games for $3 to $10 and helping to fund all the indie games that'll be coming out to this console. And it's meant for every game being E for everyone in co-op. So it brings back couch co-op to like more of a retro feel. And it's backed by TiMMy Tallarico, if you know who that is.
It's a cool name. TiMMy Tallarico.
He was on some of the video game programs before, so it looks it's a throwback.
And an iPad the old iPod had a baby. Sorry, I'm interested. I like Intellivision.
I'll just show you the quick little video they've got out here, so you can kind of see. This is TiMMy. Let me see if I can find that.
Is that Tommy?
That's TiMMy Tallarico. He's the CEO.
Good-looking dude, Tommy.
I thought they had a
Tallarico.
You know what? I take it back. They have the video of this thing in a different. I think Review Tech USA. He's got a video. Anyways, I'm not going to delve into this. There's like a whole crowd following this thing, both positive and negative. I'm personally in more of the positive camp on this, just because they're doing something so different that I'm intrigued and I'm thinking about picking it up.
Heck yeah.
So, the thing that I think is most interesting that kind of differentiates this from other consoles is instead of trying to compete directly with Microsoft, Sony, and even Switch, they're like, nah, we're just going to do something different. Kind of like how the Wii was like, we're just not even going to compete with Xbox and PS3 at the time. Like, so this is kind of like that console. Like, we're just not even gonna compete. We're gonna do our own thing, and hopefully we'll be successful. And that was the Wii's whole strategy. So I'd say there's a potential that they could be very successful. There's also potential they could fall flat on their face. We don't know until it comes out. But
I don't know. It's just they're not Nintendo. You
Will
know?
it be
Same with
the
Atari,
next-
I wonder.
Will it be the next Wii or the next Soulja Boy console? The true question.
I would say, will it be the next Wii and compare it to like a different console that like the Dreamcast? Will it be the next Dreamcast where it has like the backing of a really great company, but still doesn't manage to get a market share?
Are you discounting the Soulja Boy name?
I am discounting. I'm not even going to put that in because the Soulja Boy console came out and it was garbage. This thing at least looks like it's going to work very well. I just don't know who it will work for. Like, who's going to buy this thing?
Not sure of the market.
Yeah, exactly. That was the question we had before. The market for this console probably exists, but do they know about it, and are they going to buy it? So, and then, you know, with all of this being said, why not just get a PC? What's the point of getting any of these consoles? What do you guys think?
I feel like more people are doing that now. I mean, as far, and that's totally just, you know, my circle. So I haven't seen the actual statistics on it, but a lot of my friends have just switched to PC straight up now that everything's cross-party or compatibility, and you know, no reason not to be able to upgrade whatever you're doing instead of bound to your frame rate, and you know, just a different game.
The PC market, if you see this article, first growth since 2011.
Really?
Yep.
There you go, bud.
It's a thing, and like, if more and more people get past the stigma that like you have to spend $5,000 on a PC, because so many people, I get amazed by the amount of people that think you have to do that still, and is a thing of, if you know where to look, you can do stuff. You just have to be smart. You have to be patient. I built my first PC for $300, and it worked just as it worked just as well as a console, except I could grab what I wanted. You just have to be patient, and you have to keep a watchful eye on those internet marketplaces.
Alibaba. No. I have bought some components from Alibaba. I just found out my micro SD card that I bought from there like 5 years ago. It's supposed to be 128 gigs. It's probably not 128 gigs. It's probably like, 50. But for $12, you can't go wrong. Like you said, if you can find the right place to get either secondhand parts, slightly used, or, you got a friend that's deciding to go upgrade to 2020 PC and he has a 2017 PC, and you're like, hey, I'll take that. You can get into the PC game relatively cheap. You don't have to spend an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see people, if these consoles come out at $600, if you look and see a gaming desktop that happens to sit on, not ThinkGeek, that's the wrong website, Newegg. If you go to Newegg and you see a $600 gaming PC, are you really feeling like you're going to go buy a console? I mean, if you don't want the hassle, maybe. But as the pricing gets closer and closer together, I think people are more likely to buy a PC because it can do more things, even if it's more of a hassle.
There's more options, exactly. And upgradable. I mean, if what you're buying is not, or things not integrated into it. So,
realistically, I think the consoles are price constrained. They can't go so high that you're not going to buy it. Like if you go to a certain point with a console, it's like, well, what's the point? I'm paying for the convenience, but is it really that convenient at that price? So, you guys got anything else you want to say? Next gen consoles? Tell Microsoft and Sony what you really feel? No.
I'm just going to stick with my PC. I'm just happy that Halo's on the PC now.
Yeah, Halo Infinite. And the MCC. Just not Halo 5, but I don't know how much you're missing there.
I think we'll survive.
I think I'll be okay.
Timmy's going to get that $400 Atari console.
Thinking about it. Honestly, though, in television does make more sense. I hope you get it. Let me know how great it is.
There's a very good chance I'll get that one.
Do you like a comparison?
Timmy will get the Atari, and then we'll have a big powwow and compare it when all the social distancing's done.
I'm saying I actually, not bragging because I somehow just came across this at a yard sale, but now I have 2 Intellivisions. So I'll just send you one if you want. If you get the new one, you can, like, you know,
Heck
do an
yeah,
old
man.
school, new school comparison or something.
How'd you end up with a second one?
At a yard sale.
Oh, nice.
Actually, yeah. It's I don't get to go to them very often, man, but they still around here where I live. Every once in a while, there's old Nintendo games. I've got an old Sega, you know, a couple months ago. I also befriended a lady that owns a tiny antique store down the road, and that has been the best thing ever. She just she'll be like, "Hey, this guy brought in some Nintendo stuff. Can you test it out for me?" And I'll be like, "But of course." And then I'm like, "By the way, if you just want me to buy this right now, I'll do that too." So if it's something that I want or don't have,
She's like, "I got this."
That has been amazing.
She's like, "I got this VR headset from like the '90s. It's got Nintendo branding on it.
Red?
Yeah, it's like
I
red."
don't know.
as,
Tripod?
as always, I'm Chris,
Now I'm Timmy.
I'm JC.
and we will all see you tomorrow on
The next CHRILLCAST.